Hello, my beautiful friends. I'm Janet. Welcome to my channel where I hope to inspire you to create a home and a life you love. Well, this week I thought I'd take you along on my construction journey as I start a brand new renovation project. Let's go. Well, before I dive into the day-by-day, play-by-play of the construction process, I thought I'd give you a little bit of background information about the house. So the house is a brick split level, which was built in 1972. So a split level basically means that there's 3 levels, or there could be 2, but in this case there's 3. So there's a main level with the kitchen, living room, dining room. Beneath that is just a crawl space. And then there's stairs down to another level, which is the basement, and stairs up to the 3rd level, which is the bedrooms and a bathroom. The house is really a solid construction. The roof is in good shape. There's no water in the basement. It has steel I-beam construction, so that means the whole house is plumb and level. Everything is structurally sound. We're starting with a lot of good features like really nice windows, even though a lot of them were broken to begin with. The windows and the light coming into the house is really nice. The hardwood floors are also in great condition. They do need to be refinished, but there's no holes, dings, scratches, no repair work to the wood needed. So that's kind of what we're starting with, but the house was vandalized, boarded up, and had a lot of damage to the interior. A lot of windows were broken, as I said, and a lot of basketball holes on the inside. And so because of that vandalism, the house was boarded up. The house was also winterized, which means that all of the utilities were turned off. So step 1 is getting the utilities turned on, of course, before we can really start any serious work inside because we need the heat. Since the house was winterized, vandalized, and subsequently boarded up, I knew that I either needed a really good security system before I started this project or a house sitter. So my painter, Mike, had actually been away for a year and was coming back, and I thought it was the perfect win-win situation because he needed a place to stay, I needed a house sitter. So Mike loaded up his tools, delivered them all to the house, and we thought that we would soon start work on the exterior while we waited for the utilities to be turned on. Little did I know, the utilities were going to take a lot longer to be turned on than I had expected or planned because I had never done a project before that needed a new gas meter and utilities turned on for the first time. After Mike dropped off his tools, we realized he couldn't stay here without heat and utilities, so he had to go to plan B. While his tools were sitting here, which I forewarned him about, there was a reason I needed a house sitter, we ran into some problems and the house got broken into again. Day 0 and there's already drama. Oh, somebody broke in. So now we have an investigation going on. And this time they stole pretty much all of his tools, even his painting clothes went missing. So the police are the ones that notified of this. So at 2 in the morning, we had to go over there to see what was going on and file a police report and get fingerprints and DNA testing and all of this stuff. And so even though the police think they know who did this, we probably aren't going to get any of our tools returned. So not the best start to a project, but I'm not a quitter and I persevere. And so we just went out, we bought new tools so that we could get started on the project anyway. So I'd been wanting to start doing YouTube videos and I knew that documenting a construction process wasn't going to be pretty. So I had to provide a little bit of a disclaimer here that I am not always going to look good in these videos. So here's my disclaimer. I just wanted to let you all know ahead of time that I'm going to be posting a lot of videos where I look really ugly. So I'm going to be doing a little series of my renovation project, and I'm usually at the job site. I'm here now, but I'm in my, you can't really see it back there, but I'm in my car because the lighting outside early in the morning when I get to the job site really makes me look bad, and I'm shooting anyway. So somehow the sunlight, when it hits my face, that's why I'm in the car now, just highlights every crease, every wrinkle, every pore, every shadow, crevice, whatever on my face, and I look horrible. And I was wondering, do I look this bad in real life? Anyway, and then I thought, oh, shot all these videos that I can't use because I look so bad. And then I decided, you know what? No, I'm posting them anyway, even though I look bad. I don't care. I didn't want to do video, TikTok, YouTube, anything unless I could be real and be filter free and just shoot and post. I don't even know how to learn the filters on TikTok. I don't have time. I don't want to bother. And this is not about looking good. This is about me documenting my construction, my renovation project, and inspiring you to create a home and a life you love. And I think a life you love is not one filled with Botox and filters and a bunch of fake stuff. I think creating a life you love is about being authentic and real. And so it's all about having fun on the journey. It's not about being critical, not even critical of ourselves. So I have to just let all that go. So if you want to see beautiful people, click to the next video, keep scrolling, whatever. But if you want to get some inspiration, if you want to see what I'm doing in my life, on my construction projects, other home and garden stuff, thrifting, all the things that I love doing, then please follow along and hopefully you'll get some inspiration also to live your best life, because what I'm trying to do is really inspire you to create a home and a life you love. Before we dive into day 1 of the construction process, I just want to commemorate day 0. It is day 0 of the project. So day 0 to me is kind of symbolic of the planning and prep work we do before day 1, before we actually start a journey. So Lao Tzu in the Tao Te Ching did not say every journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. While I love that saying because it's motivational and it kind of makes us feel like this vast, huge journey just needs to start with one step, one action step. And that sounds really motivational, but that's not what he said. He actually said every journey of 1,000 miles begins under one's feet. And to me, that symbolizes our feet being firmly planted on the ground, in our bodies and our minds, that we have planned, we have prepared, we have done everything necessary to start that journey. And so that is what day 0 is symbolic of. All of that prep work that begins in our mind, it begins just thinking about things and dreaming and planning and mapping it out. And in the case of a construction project like this, it's visualizing what we want this house to look like when it's finished, doing the design work, buying the materials, hiring the crews, turning on the utilities, all of that prep work, measuring everything before we actually start so that we have a successful journey or project in this case. So this is day 0. We have not started anything, still in the planning phases. We're still waiting for the utilities to be turned on. And we've had some setbacks already. The utilities are taking a lot longer to get turned on than we planned. And we have to start painting or we're going to lose the weather. Here in Chicago, you can't paint in the winter time, so we have very limited time to start that painting. So it should be how not to do a renovation project, because usually I do the outside last. That's ideal. But in Chicago with the weather, sometimes things get flipped around. So we're going to actually start with the exterior just to get things moving before we lose the weather. And then hopefully we'll have the utilities on and can move inside to finish the project. Okay, now we get into the good stuff, the good part, the journey. It's beginning. We are breaking ground. We are setting foot out on that journey. We are starting the work. Here we go. Day 1. Day 1, we are taking down the gutters for paint prep. We need new gutters anyway, so we have to remove the old ones in order to prep for the paint. We estimated a 2-day working time for the gutter removal. Day 1, Mike takes down half of the gutters. Not that exciting, but it's work that needs to be done to progress. All right, on to day 2. Today there is more paint prep, and part of that paint prep is removing all of the Boston ivy that grew all over about 1/4 of this house. Now, Boston ivy has these little suckers that look like little fingers that just glue right onto the brick. So scraping all that off is a lot of hard work. It's tedious. It is not fun to do, but it's necessary for any paint to stick to the brick later. That stuff has to come off. Also, on day 2, I evaluate the entire painting job with Mike. We do a complete walk around the house, looking at everything. I know that I want to keep the boards on all of the windows before I replace the glass so that we can get our security system in and cameras and alarms and all of that, so we don't have any other break-ins. People knew the house was boarded up and vacant. Now that there's activity going on, I'm not as afraid of that, but I'm just being precautious. So we want to see if we can spray the paint around those boarded up windows, but still hit all of the brick all the way up to the window trim, so we have little or no touch up later. Turns out it was perfect. We could spray without removing the boards. So we did a walk around to evaluate exactly what all of the prep work was going to be, aside from removing the ivy, and mapped out our entire painting plan. Also on day 2, I met with my friend Rene, who happens to be a landscape designer, and we discussed the sidewalk replacement, the sidewalk design, the garden bed layout and design. So we basically discussed all of the landscaping, what needs to be done to the entire yard to beautify it and to create curb appeal so that the property looks fabulous when it is finished. And Rene is a master, so I know his plan is going to turn out beautifully and look fabulous. At the end of day 2, Rene does a few napkin drawings of the landscape design that we discussed before turning it into his final plan. And back at the ranch, Corky sleeps through it all. Poor guy. I usually take him for a walk or run every day after I drop my son off at school, but during this project, it's near the school, so I'm coming straight over here, and poor little Corky has been suffering, so he took a big old snooze. All right, day 3, power washing. I love power washing because it is just so satisfying watching the dirt like melt right off the brick, and as the windowsills are sprayed, you can just see the dirt coming off line by line. And not only is it satisfying, it's so necessary when you're going to do outside painting of brick to power wash it. That's one of the steps for paint prep, so the paint stays on, doesn't peel off later. Day 4 of construction. The glamorous part, porta potty delivery. So we had to prep the location of the porta potty, clear the debris and weeds so that there be proper placement within the property line of the porta potty. Since we have no utilities, no running water, no bathroom, we need a place for everybody to go to the bathroom. Not glamorous, but this is reality. Okay, after the porta potty goes in, more paint prep. We have so far removed the gutters, removed the ivy, power washed. Now we can actually start prepping the painted surfaces. Day 5, continuation of all of that paint prep, and there's a lot of it. And we start removing all the overgrowth of shrubs and trees on the property, chopping down trees, a lot of brush removal, just clearing the yard so that you can actually see the house and so that things look a lot better. So starting on the landscaping and continuing on paint prep today. Day 6, we hit the end of our construction week, and there is a lot going on day 6. We are prepped for the brick to be painted, so I have to make a color and design decision on the brick color. Is it going to be yellow? Is it going to be white? I don't know. But that outside color is going to dictate some of the interior design elements inside. So if I go with white and more bold colors, I'll probably do a contemporary design inside. If I go with the yellow, I'll probably do more of a French design on the inside. So I have to make that decision when I haven't had everything on the inside figured out yet, because I haven't bought the furniture or found all of my thrifted items yet. But I am down to the wire on day 6. I had to make that paint decision. What color do you think I'm going to choose? The electric service install begins as the electrician arrives. And I run to Home Depot for supplies, and I spy myself some bushes that are on sale, so I picked those up for our landscape design after consulting with Rene via photos and text to see if he thought those would look good, and he gave me the thumbs up, so I bought those bushes, and we continue for the rest of the day to round out the end of our week construction process. This week, there was absolutely no drama. Everything went smoothly. Everybody's getting along. Everything's great. I mean, I've been doing this a long time, so I don't expect a lot of problems. And I really know the house that I renovate well. Like, I've spent time here. I know every crevice and corner. I know what the strengths and weaknesses, the problems of the house are. I know what I need to fix. So I'm not usually uncovering any hidden problems. I've been doing this long enough that I can prevent that before I even buy a place. But I thought it'd be interesting to document this because you never know what's going to pop up. We got lucky that week 1, there were no real problems, but you never know what's going to happen next week. So stay tuned for week 2. Well, that concludes week 1 of the construction journey. I hope you follow along for the rest of the renovation process. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell, all of those wonderful things below, and I hope to see you in the next video. Ciao for now.